Good evening. With the Ghana Learner Channel's News and Capsule for Thursday, October 21, 2021, I am Kingsley Bryan. Here's a look at some of the top stories we will be covering this evening. We'll tell you first that a 21-year-old Guyanese has been admitted to the bar, one of the youngest ever to be admitted. And NRG makes donation of $5 million to the Ghana Marine Conservation Society. And that is to fund birding study and to aid in the preservation of the species. Meanwhile, St. Cuthbert's Mission gets $8.1 million water supply system. More than 300 residents among first-time potable water recipients. And in news from the region, Barbados elects first ever president, Dame Sandra Mason, to be sworn in on November 30. And on the international scene, pig's kidney transplanted in a brain-dead human. First ever successful surgery of its kind. And now for the news in detail. 21-year-old Abimanu Dave, whose petition was presented by attorney-at-law Devendra Kissoon, was admitted to the bar by Chief Justice Roxanne George Wilshire. Abimanu gained the distinction at law school and from all accounts was always aiming for success at an early age. It was relayed also that Abimanu excelled at U Wooden and has been involved with complex cases at the law firm. He's a son of columnist Ravi Dev and former teacher Padmini Dev. Chief Justice George charged the young lawyer to uphold the highest standards at the bar, to be diligent, and to always assist the court during its practice. Abimanu responded by vowing to always exceed the standards established by the Legal Practitioners Act, doing his best to diligently represent the interests of his clients and uphold the highest standards expected by judiciary. The newly admitted attorney will begin his career at the commercial firm of London House Chambers. And in other news, NRG Holdings Incorporated has provided $5 million to the Ghana Marine Conservation Society to fund a birding study. The donation was received by the Conservation Society on October 15, and according to that organization's president, Mrs. Annette Arjun Martins, the funds will play an important role in the preservation of Ghana's blue carbon assets. In a statement, Mrs. Martins said the initiative has an invaluable contribution of $5 million by NRG Holdings to enable the much-needed birding study of the Berrima Mora Passage mangrove forest, where the largest and most intact mangrove ecosystems in Guyana exist. End of quote. In conveying appreciation to the NRG Holdings Inc., Arjun Martins said the blue carbon assets of this area are immense, and in a time of climate change where our carbon sinks are of immense value, your support will enable scientific research, which will play a very important role in its preservation. End of quote. Mr. Nicholas Degu Boyle, one of the partners within the consortium, stated that the developers are keen on facilitating and ensuring the protection of Guyana's flora and fauna, and the environment as a whole for future generations. NRG Holdings Inc. is a 100% Guyanese-owned consortium comprising Haddy World Incorporated, National Hardware Limited, and ZRN Investments Incorporated. The Guyanese consortium is developing the massive port of Redenoop project. And the community of St. Cuthbert's Mission, located in Region 4, now boasts of significantly improved water supply with the commissioning of an $8.1 million upgraded and expanded water supply system, which is benefiting some 700 residents. Of these 700 residents, more than 300 are receiving potable water for the first time as a result of the Government of Guyana-funded project. The project was executed by the Guyana Water Incorporated in-house staff, the Village Council, and a local contractor was used to refurbish a metal trestle. It entailed the upgrading of the distribution system, trestle rehabilitation, leak repairs, wellhead rehabilitation and discharge, and the installation of new service connections. During a feature address at the commissioning ceremony, which was hosted at the St. Cuthbert's Mission Primary, Minister Rodrigues highlighted that 90% of the community is benefiting from the upgraded water supply system. This is in comparison to the 35% that was being served before the upgrade. She also used the opportunity to highlight that before the end of 2021, 5 new wells will be drilled along the Linden-Soesdijk Highway in the communities of Swan, Kuru, Kairuni, Long Creek, and Moblesa. To Sheriff of St. Cuthbert's Mission, Timothy Andrews, remarked that residents will now be able to enjoy a better quality of life with the upgraded and expanded system. Nursery, primary, and secondary schools, health center, and teachers' quarters are also among the beneficiaries of this project. There still remains approximately 30 households on the outskirts of the village without water access, and GWI will be working closely with the Village Council to ensure that these residents, too, gain the requisite access. And now turn our attention to the world of sports. We'll tell you that Afghanistan defeats West Indies by 56 runs. West Indies selectors have been left scratching their heads as the defending T20 champions crashed to a second straight defeat in a warm-up game on Wednesday, this time to lowly rated Afghanistan. The Windies lost by 56 runs to the Afghans, following on their 7-wicket defeat to Pakistan on Monday. The Caribbean side will officially begin the defense of their title against England on Saturday. Afghanistan combined a belligerent batting performance with tight bowling to stomp to a 56-run win against a somewhat lethargic West Indies in both teams' second and final warm-up match for the T20 World Cup 2021. And that story was extracted from the Loop Caribbean News. And in news from the region, Barbados has elected its first ever president as it prepares to become a republic, removing Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. Dame Sandra Mason, 72 years old, is set to be sworn in on November 30, which will mark the country's 55th anniversary of independence from Britain. The first woman to serve on the Barbados Court of Appeal, Dame Sandra has been Governor General since 2018. The government announced the plan to move to a republic status last year. This historic election came after a joint session of the House of Assembly and the Senate on Wednesday. Prime Minister Mia Mottley described the vote as a seminal moment for the nation. With a population of about 285,000 people, Barbados is one of the most populous and prosperous Caribbean islands. Once heavily dependent on sugar exports, its economy has diversified into tourism and finance. Barbados will not be the first former British colony in the Caribbean to become a republic. Guyana took that step in 1970, less than 4 years after gaining independence from Great Britain. Trinidad and Tobago followed suit in 1976, and Dominica in 1978. Jamaica has in the past suggested that it might also consider this change. And that story was extracted and modified from Caribbean Loop News. And on the international scene, U.S. surgeons say they have successfully given a pig's kidney to a person in a transplant breakthrough they hope could ultimately solve donor organ shortages. The recipient was brain dead, meaning they were already on artificial life support with no prospect of recovering. The kidney came from a pig that had been genetically modified to stop the organ being recognized by the body as foreign and being rejected. The work is not yet peer-reviewed or published, but there are plans for this. Experts say it is the most advanced experiment in the field so far. Similar tests have now been done in non-human primates, but not people until now. Using pigs for transplants is not a new idea. Pigs' heart valves are already widely used in humans, and their organs are a good match for people when it comes to size. During the 2-hour operation at the New York University Langone Health Medical Center, the surgeons connected the donor pig kidney to the blood vessels of the brain-dead recipient to see if it would function normally once plumbed in or be rejected. The surgeons transplanted a bit of the pig's thymus gland too, along with the kidney. They think this organ might help stop the human body rejecting the kidney in the long term by mopping up any stray immune cells that might otherwise fight the pig's tissue. The family of the recipient, who had wanted to be an organ donor, gave permission for the surgery to go ahead. U.S. regulator, the FDA, has approved the use of the genetically modified pig organs for this type of research use. Dr. Montgomery, who conducted the surgery, believes that within a decade, other pig organs, hearts, lungs, and livers could be given to humans needing transplants. And that story was extracted and modified from the CNN. And that's our news broadcast for Thursday, October 21, 2021. Please join us for a rebroadcast tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself and technical teams, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned to our regular programming. And remember to observe all the necessary precautionary methods to fight off COVID-19. We're all in this together. Good evening.